Well, I would like you to, before you listen to the rest of this video that you're watching now on YouTube, is to stop it, pause it. Well, and I need you to do this. I need you to go on YouTube, which is where you are anyway, and look up Bill Cosby's Noah. Cosby's Noah. That will be enough. It'll be there. There's one in black and white, which is good to watch because that's the real Cosby. You can actually see Cosby doing his presentation. But the only thing is that's only about half of the whole thing. So I would say watch that. But then, I left the end out. But then I go to one of the 7-minute versions that's on there. So listen to that, and then pause this, and then come back. I'm gonna go on. I'll stop for a minute. Okay, now I hope you're back. During that pause, that's what you had an assignment to do, because I want to talk about that. The story of Noah. I often use this. Every year I use this with my classes. But Cosby's funny. That's called a monologue, and sometimes I have the kids write that down as a genre. A monologue, when one person is speaking. That's an example of the genre monologue. Well, how does he achieve his humor? Well, Cosby's good. But anyway, there are various literary devices I'd like to point out. One of them is anachronism. Now, I think you already have that in your notes. And literary devices, those are, I don't know if it's the, I don't know if it's the fifth section, 5.1. I think it's maybe 5.1, maybe 5.2. I think I might have already given this because I think I told you about a beer commercial for Bud Light. Anachronism is the use of something in the wrong time. The ana part from Greek means wrong, wrong right there, and the chrono, that part means time. And I'm thinking a little bit about opening the Greek section of the notes as well. I probably will. In the last video, I floundered around opening the Latin section because I knew that as we go into morphology and syntax, there are going to be so many words that come from Latin. That's why I did that. Well, I may do it with Greek. Anyway, it's the use of something in the wrong time. Well, Cosby does this a lot in his version of Noah. First of all, he says Noah was in the rec room. Well, I don't think that's called a rec room anymore, but when I was a kid, a rec room, in the basement, you had a place for the family recreation and stuff. Well, Noah didn't have a rec room. At a certain point toward the end, he mentions Florida. He says he's going to Florida. Noah didn't know about Florida. His neighbor has a driveway. And all of this stuff is in Cosby's Noah. Those are examples of anachronisms, and they're funny. When he mentions candid camera, that's an anachronism as well. But it's also an illusion. Now, I know you've got illusion up there. So you don't have to, if you skip the line or in your notes or a line or two, you could add that the use of Tarzan, well, that's an allusion to a famous character. Or Candid Camera, that was a famous television show of the 60s and 70s. In Ibid, well, that might not work so well up there, but on my board it would be a way of saying in Cosby's Noah. Irony. Now, this has not occurred yet. Here I'll define it. Irony, I'm not going to define it because it's too hard to explain, but I'll just say one of the times that it can occur. Irony, and everyone responds to it, it occurs when the audience knows something that a character doesn't know about something that the character says or does. It's not guaranteed that it will be ironic, but it could be. And I use the example of me, if I were teaching and speaking and saying I'm a teacher that nobody ever dares to pull any stunts on. Well, that might or might not be true. But if the audience could see that above my head there was a window opening and somebody had a bucket of something and they were about to dump it on my head, I didn't see that. My audience saw that. Then they would have that funny feeling, oh, Mr. Hanson, you shouldn't be saying that if you knew what I knew. Well, that would be an ironic situation. Well, irony occurs here when when Noah says to his neighbor, you want a hint why I'm building an ark? You want a hint? And the hint is, how long can you tread, that's a D, sorry. How long can you tread water? Well, the audience knows that he's going to have to tread water for 40 days and 40 nights. But the neighbor doesn't know. Well, Cosby reinforces it by going, ha, which is that feeling you get when you, with irony. You don't, it's funny in a strange kind of a way. How long can you tread water? In Ibid, in Cosby's Noah. And then finally, from that, I wanted to tell you that echo, I am fairly sure that earlier in the year, I had you write down echo on this page, the reuse of something noteworthy within a work, like the guy coming back in quest for fire with a fire, or the messenger in Much Ado About Nothing. Well, at the end of Cosby's Noah, God says to Noah, Noah, how long can you tread water? Well, that's funny this time, not so much because it's ironic. It's funny now because it's echoing. It's coming back on Noah from God. Okay, well, tomorrow we'll go on with other stories. But I know what I was going to say. One other thing. Just for pure delight, if you want to, there's a song called Noah Found Grace in the Eyes of the Lord. Noah found, it's not quite as useful for me in class. Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord, and if you'll find it on YouTube. And if you look at the Statler brothers' version of it, they sing it very fast, almost impossibly fast to understand. But it's a kind of a cute rendition of the story of Noah, and a chance for an audience to enjoy the fact that collectively they know the story of Noah. I have used that before in class. Singing it and having the kids take the parts like the Statler brothers do so well. All right, hey, we'll see you tomorrow.